Okay, be honest for a second. You're watching a heist movie, and you kind of find yourself rooting for the bad guys, right? Just a little? Well, that's what we're going to dive into today. That weird, fascinating feeling we get when we see a crime that's, well, almost a work of art. So when you think heist, you probably picture something happening at night, right? Dark alleys, secret vaults. Yeah, forget all that. Our story kicks off in the middle of Paris on a bright, sunny Sunday morning. And what happens next? Well, it's so bold, it feels like it was ripped straight out of a movie script. The scene is the Louvre. You know, the Louvre. The doors are just opening, people are milling in to see some of the most famous art in the world. There's this quiet, respectful vibe in the air. But right in the middle of all that, a totally different kind of performance is about to begin. And yeah, it's literally going to steal the show. Suddenly, a cherry picker lifts up to this ornate, gilded window. Alarms just start screaming through these ancient halls. And the craziest part, it all looks like a construction project. It's the perfect cover. A whole team is pulling off this impossible plan, right out in the open. And how long did it take? Get this, 7 minutes. That's it. From breaking the window to completely vanishing back into the city, the whole thing was done faster than you can make a cup of coffee. It's just mind-blowing. And just like that, poof, they were gone. The only things left were these little breadcrumbs, right? A damaged crown on the ground, some motorcycle parts scattered around, and this massive question that the entire world suddenly wanted answered. How did they do that? So you can see, this wasn't just another robbery. It became this huge global story. Which brings us to the real question. Why? Why are we so hooked by stories like this? What is it about a good heist that just digs into our brains and won't let go? I mean, think about it. When you first heard that story, what was your real first reaction? After the shock wore off, of course. Was there a part of you that was just intensely curious? You wanted to know the how, didn't you? How did they plan it? How did they actually get away with it? And see, those are the exact same questions we ask when we're watching something like Ocean's 11. This is where real life and the movies just completely blur together. You can't help it. You start picturing the whole thing, imagining the team, the plan. You're basically watching the movie unfold in your head. Okay, so what is actually going on in our heads here? Well, it's not random. Turns out there's a psychological reason for it, almost like a formula. There's a very specific reason our brains find these heist stories so satisfying. It's this idea called competence pleasure. And you know exactly what this feels like. It's the joy you get from watching someone who is an absolute master at what they do. You know, like a world-class chef, an incredible musician, or a star athlete. We are just hardwired to admire that level of skill. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? We're not actually cheering for the crime itself. We're blown away by the mastery. The act of stealing becomes something else. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance, a high-stakes performance where everything has to go just right. And pretty much every great heist story, real or fake, follows this simple 3-part formula. And our brains just eat it up. First, you've got the plan, then the execution, and finally, the surprise, that little twist you didn't see coming. It's a structure that's just so satisfying to watch unfold. Okay, but admiring the skill is one thing. This is where it starts to get a little tricky, ethically speaking. How on earth do these stories convince us to actually root for the criminals? This is where things get complicated. Well, it often comes down to this classic character, the gentleman thief. You know the type. Think Robin Hood, right? Stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Or even someone more modern like the professor from Money Heist. His whole plan is framed as a big rebellion against a corrupt system. They might be breaking the law, but the story makes them out to be the heroes. But the target makes all the difference, doesn't it? I mean, it's pretty easy to root for someone robbing a greedy casino owner. That feels almost like justice. But stealing priceless cultural artifacts, things that are part of our shared history, that feels completely different. That's a loss for everyone, and those things can never be replaced. And that's the big question that these stories force us to wrestle with. Is it okay to admire the artistry of the trick, even when it kind of goes against our own sense of justice? It's a really interesting spot to be in morally. So, let's switch gears a little bit, because it turns out that movies haven't just been entertaining us with these stories for decades. In a weird way, they've actually been writing the instruction manual that real criminals are using. I mean, think about it. You go way back to 1955, and the movie Rififi pioneers this 30-minute, totally silent heist scene that's incredibly tense. Then that inspires films like Top Gun and even Mission Impossible. Fast forward to the 2000s, and Ocean's 11 gives us the slick, cool team heist. So when you look at the Louvre Heist, it honestly feels like the latest sequel in a long-running movie series. And these thieves were clearly aware of the drama. They didn't just pick any random room. They chose the Apollo Gallery, named for the god of light, of art, and they did it in broad daylight. This was not a quiet little job. This was a performance on a world stage. They wanted people to see it. And here's a crazy piece of history for you. The Mona Lisa? It wasn't really that famous until it was stolen back in 1911. The theft itself became a huge part of its legend and made it the icon it is today. So who knows? Maybe that broken window at the Louvre is going to become its own tourist attraction now. So let me just leave you with this final thought. When you first heard about the Louvre break-in, what was your gut reaction? Was it, oh, that's terrible? Or was it, wow, I wonder how they did that? If it was the second one, if your mind immediately went to the puzzle of it all, then congratulations, you're part of the movie too.